Welcome to the Water Action Platform. This is a short, focused episode bringing you a story that will help shape the future of the water sector. No long panels, no unnecessary noise, just insights that matter. My name is Piers Clark, and our guest today is José Manuel González, the Head of Integrity and Capacity at the Alliance for Water Stewardship. José, wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me as well.
We're going to talk about version 3 of the standard and what that is, but let's start with a little introduction to what is the Alliance for Water Stewardship.
Well, the Alliance is an initiative that came at the end of the first decade of this century from an idea of United Nations to translate to something concrete, the idea of water stewardship. It is still today an alliance of corporations that have this common interest and has defined the mission on igniting and nurturing water stewardship across all the contexts and all the type of companies that we are trying to work with.
So it's an international body, not for profit, covered by the support of multiple nations to do water stewardship better everywhere across the world. Is that it?
I said it.
Excellent. Now, we're here to talk about the update to the standard. In fact, version 3 of the standard. So tell me, what is the standard and what was wrong with version 2 that meant that we needed a version 3?
No, it's a common itinerary. We have all the voluntary standards talking about sustainability. We are subject to the same obligations when joining the ICL, which is an international alliance for voluntary standards and around sustainability. We have the obligation to review the standard every 5 years. And when the review offers insights on the improvements are needed or new trends are not included in the previous version, we decide to create a new version. We jump from the version 2 launched in 2019 to this one in 2026. And in fact, the methodology that we define in the standard is a 5-step itinerary that the companies take to understand the risk they have at the catchment level, and then starting with that information and those insights to create a water stewardship plan with concrete targets and concrete actions that are measured over time.
Okay, so it's been an update on something that was 7 years ago, and it's to help utilities and people who work in the water sector approach sustainability in a robust and sensible manner.
Exactly. The main thing is that voluntary, and the main challenge that companies have is that they are obliged not only to implement measures, let's say, within the fences of the facility, but also going outside and initiate collective actions with the other stakeholders in the catchment.
And what do you hope will happen with this standard? How do you hope people will respond to it?
We're coming from a different version that was longer in considering the number of requirements, was also trying to include a lot of concepts that were maybe not sufficiently clearly explained, or the ambition was really high, but the translation into the requirements was not the best we can. In this new one, we had the comprehensive process of consultation, surveys to understand the trends, the interests of the companies that are working with water stewardship, what should be inside new desalinated or reused water, how to integrate that in the concept of water stewardship at the level of the catchment. And also we made some improvements in terms of understanding the relation of biodiversity with the freshwater ecosystems to include them in the standard. So the final result is something that is quite practical. It is very logical in the structure. It has been improved quite a lot, the structure, removing redundancies. And we hope that this is welcomed by the companies to initiate action and also to get the insights and results that they can later report in the multiple initiatives around them.
Excellent. Last question. How will you know it's been successful? How will you know that the changes you've made have delivered the improvements you're hoping for?
That's a good question. We have this structure that we mentioned before around the ACL Alliance, along with certain rules on how to develop a standard. We have in parallel another components of the good practices code, and those components are continuous training for companies, also for the assessors that get the audits done for the certification process. And we have a monitoring and evaluation system. So we follow up on the sites, what are the baseline they're considering, how they're improving over time, and what is the contribution that the implementation of the methodology is having in the company. So in the previous version of the standard, in those 7 years, we went through 2 rounds of checks. So we had 2 reports of impact, and the positive result is showing us that hopefully we are moving in the good direction, and with improvements that we did in the standard, we would have it around the corner waiting for us as well.
Excellent. Jose, thank you for taking the time to speak to us, and thank you so much for sharing that. If anyone wants to know more about this standard, or indeed what the Alliance for Water Stewardship does, visit their website.